San Antonio demolished OKC by 32 points on Saturday night. Kevin Durant struggled with a minus 31 in the game and only made 6 of 15 field goals. Stephen A., how much will this series determine Durant's future?
Well, I think it's going to determine it a great deal. And, Skip, I'd like to read something from an article in OKC News by a guy that does an outstanding job for them named Darnell Mayberry.
He's
excellent.
Know him.
He's excellent. He's excellent. Good guy, too. He's excellent at what he does. And he wrote in an article dated March 7th about Joel Myers, who's the voice for the New Orleans Pelicans, but also used to do some, he still does stuff on SiriusXM radio, does an outstanding job there, and, you know, calling games and doing all of that stuff. And he also, and he quoted Joel Myers saying this: I made some calls over the weekend talking to Vinny Del Negro. If they don't, meaning if the Oklahoma City Thunder don't win the championship, I'm told if they don't at least get to the NBA Finals, Durant is gone. Now, I wonder where we heard that, because it's something that I've said on several occasions. When everybody and Durant called me a liar and everybody's going up, it's what has been going on. It wasn't breaking news for people who cover the NBA. It's something that has been talked about since the summertime. OKC is under immense pressure, which, by the way, if they end up losing Durant, Sam Presti, who I admire and respect, is going to have some explaining to do, because bringing in a college coach in Billy Donovan, knowing that you got to possibly go up against the Greg Popovich and the Steve Kerrs of the world, and you go the route of Billy Donovan, you're going to have some explaining to do if you end up losing this series and losing Kevin Durant, which I think is very possible. But it's not etched in stone, and here's why. Durant can always elect to go the LeBron route. Instead of signing a long-term deal, you can sign a 2-year deal with an opt-out after 1 year that enables you to not be a free agent this season, but next season. And then as a result, you, along with Westbrook, are both free agents at the same time, and you can go someplace else as a packaged deal. That is entirely possible that Durant can elect to do that. That is an option. Me personally, Skip, I think it's a 50-50 proposition that he's gone. If you get blown out in this series, I think he'll leave. That's my personal opinion. I don't know that, but I believe that. I'm hearing there's no way in hell he's going to Washington. So if that's why Ernie Grunfeld hired Scott Brooks, you made a mistake. Because from what I'm hearing, Kevin Durant not interested in going home. I agree. Now, Kevin Durant could be lying, because I'm not calling him a liar, but I'm saying he could be just saying he's not going because he doesn't want everybody to know, because he doesn't want that pressure coming from the homegrown folks when he hasn't made a decision yet. In the LA is a consideration. That's why Luke Walton's there. New York is a consideration because Carmelo Anthony has unapologetically been pursuing Kevin Durant. Okay? But to me, if I am Kevin Durant and I don't stay in OKC, there is one place that I'm going above all else, and that is to South Beach and Miami, not the San Antonio Spurs. You got DeMarcus Aldridge along with Kawhi Leonard. They've got 5 championships on their resume. They've been perennial title contenders. They don't need you. You don't, even though anybody could use Kevin Durant because he's one of the top 3 players in the world, to me, it's the same principle. Like, for example, if he ended up going to Golden State, if Golden State would have won the championship this year, and Kevin Durant went to Golden State, I'm not interested in that. I wouldn't even recognize him as a champion because they won without you. So why are you going? You just jumping on that bandwagon. But considering that Miami has dissipated and they've fallen out of the championship equation, if you went there, if you went to Washington, if you went to New York, a legitimate argument could be made that they won because of you. You didn't just hop on for the ride. To me, you're hopping on for the ride if you're in San Antonio. You're hopping on for the ride if you're in Golden State. You're not hopping on a ride if you're in Miami. Because no matter how good they look, we know they ain't Cleveland because they don't have LeBron. And LeBron is perceived as being your kryptonite. So you go to Miami. It's South Beach. You got D-Wade because they got his bird right, so you can still bring D-Wade back. You got Hassan Whiteside. You got Justice Winslow. I can't tell you how much I keep raving about this kid, Josh Richardson. I love this kid. What a bright future. And then the possibility of Chris Bosh coming back, you're talking title. You're talking title. Excuse me, if Bosh were healthy, with the Heat as presently constructed, and you add Kevin Durant to that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm telling you that right now. There's no way that Miami is not coming out of the Eastern Conference if Kevin Durant joined that Miami Heat crew. No way.
If Chris Paul goes to Cleveland?
Damn, Skip, you trumped me on that one. That is the first time in our career together that I said you actually trumped me on that one. Because if Chris Paul did end up going to Cleveland with LeBron,
it would at least be a battle.
It would be a battle, no doubt about it. Then you got me there. But I was just thinking as Cleveland presently constructed if Miami added Durant. But if Chris Paul went to Cleveland and Durant went to Miami, could be very, very interesting. Very interesting.
I believe Kevin Durant is going to leave one way or the other, win or lose. Win a title, I believe he would leave. Really? And I think he's going to have the time of his life through the summer getting wined and dined in a tour over America, because every destination you brought up has some validity to it. It has some worth to it. Listen, I know for a fact he's intrigued by the New York situation. He likes Phil, loves Melo, Porzingis, wherever they're headed.
He ain't that intrigued by. He's intrigued by the New York market. He's intrigued by Carmelo. He ain't that intrigued by Phil Jackson, the executive, and the rookie and Porzingis. Porzingis is nice.
Okay. But L.A. remains somewhat in play, as you point out. The last team on the list, I think, is the hometown team to me, going back to D.C. Okay. But Miami's in play, and I believe that San Antonio and Golden State would just get in play depending on. Let's just say they flame out. Let's do the hypothetical. If they flame out fairly quickly, then at some point Kevin Durant is going to say, I want to do it the right way, and I want some rings. I want a ring or two. And either Golden State or San Antonio would give you the opportunity to win rings. Now, you could call them piggyback rings if you want. But especially in San Antonio, they're starting to recreate another era.
It's a new wave. It's not necessarily jumping on the bandwagon with the old guy.
Yeah. I feel you. If Kevin Durant had gone to San Antonio last summer, I'm not saying he could, obviously. I'm just speculating that if he had gone there last summer while they were building a new regime, fine. But this is a San Antonio Spurs team that just won 67 games, that went 40-1 on their home court, that is widely considered to be the team, if not the second best team in all of the NBA.
Correct.
And the only team that's in the argument with them are the Golden State Warriors, who are the reigning defending NBA champions. You go to one of those two teams, you're piggybacking. That is not the same as a team, you being the guy that's the reason they won a championship.
Unless my Spurs beat the Thunder and then lose to the Warriors, and that would be, once again, Warriors repeat. Well, then San Antonio's still the bridesmaid. You know, still we can't get over the hump here against this team.
I just see it because, again, San Antonio would have beaten OKC. So you going to the team that actually beat you is still a form of piggybacking. I don't see it that way. You go anywhere else, now, because he's one of the top 3 players in the world. Kevin Durant is a superstar, okay? So this is not about questioning his skill or his validity or his substance. Not at all. It's saying that the situation says they could win with or without you. Other situations you go to, no, they would be winning because you arrived. You go to Washington, you go to New York, you go to the Lakers, you go to Miami. They're winning because you arrived. That's entirely different than...
Does he want that kind of pressure?
Well, I think so. I think so. Maybe not New York, L.A. type pressure, but if you talk about Miami, who would have a problem with their pressure?
We heard Boston, too.
Well, Boston, again, now that's different kind of pressure, because, again, in Boston, they got all the pieces with future draft picks, et cetera, but he would have to be the man. In Miami, you the man, but you don't really have to be the man. LeBron was the man, but there were times when D-Wade was the one. Here's the ball to close. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to be that guy, but you're still that guy. That is an ideal situation for Kevin Durant.
Well, he's going to be the story of the summer.
And I don't really think he cares about being wined and dined like that. And listen, this is a guy that announced his contract, his $85 million contract extension on Twitter, man. He don't care. He's not that kind of guy. He's not.
We know he does care about getting a chip, though, so we'll see where that
Well, I wish him luck. I want Kevin Durant to win a ring. He's too great not to have a ring.
We shall see. It's going to be an interesting summer. The Browns already had 4 quarterbacks on the roster and added another one this weekend by drafting Cody Kessler out of USC. What does this mean for RG3 and the first home sweep of the Yankees since 2013 and now sit in first place. New York lost for the 13th time in the last 17 games after a 4-2 start to the season and are now in last place.
No.
Skip.
The Yankees are in last place?
The Yankees, the New York Yankees.
Stephen A. Smith, I regret to inform you, your Yankees are on the way to missing the playoffs for the 3rd time in 4 years. And this is starting to resemble the dark days of the 80s and early 90s when they missed the playoffs from 82 all the way up to 94. I think we've started down that slide. What are you going to do about it?
No pitching. No pitching. They were struggling with run production, but came out of their funk yesterday. And then Betances, who I loved last year, has given up a game-winning home run in 2 of the last 3 nights. Eovaldi hasn't been that impressive. Tanaka, and Sabathia.
So do you give up?
Listen, at least you have your Knicks.
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about this right now. Oh, really? Really? That's where we go.
You have your Steelers.
Is that where we go?
Your Steelers. They are. They're legit good. And they're going to be healthy.
Can I talk to y'all tomorrow? Can I talk to y'all tomorrow about it?